everybody, welcome to my show. It's Trash Girl, and I got junk. All right, I'm just kidding, but it really is junk. And I got 6 of them. 6! Okay, so this is where we turn trash into treasure, and I got 6 of these absolutely hideous dining room table legs, and I'm gonna turn it into, guess what? A chandelier! Yep, you heard me right. I'm really seriously gonna turn this piece of crap into a chandelier. Absolutely. Now I told you that I got 6 of them. Never underestimate what somebody else's trash is. I met this awesome lady on Facebook Marketplace. She was giving these away, guys, for 35 bucks for all 6. So I grabbed them up, had an idea. We're gonna go make it happen. What are you waiting for? Come on. All right, here are those legs again. This was her Facebook Marketplace ad, and I'm so glad that I met her because I really wanted these legs for this project. This was my initial inspiration. Now, I could have made this out of Dollar Tree items, could have made this out of acrylic piping. I wanted to do something different. I was gonna pay $700 to $800 for these. I am super glad that I did not. So we're gonna go ahead and get started and spray paint these legs with this metallic silver paint that I got from Hobby Lobby. Short burst, wear gloves, wear a mask, all the things I didn't do. I'm gonna figure it out before I get sick, but a fresh coat of paint does a table leg really good, and I really love how they came out. I'm using this clear top coat just to make sure that that paint doesn't chip off because I want these to last a long time. All right, so now that these are painted, I did not want my base to stay like this. So I found these dials at Hobby Lobby. That big one was $1.99. The little one comes in a pack of 2 for $2.99. And I thought these would be perfect to glue and nail to my table leg because I want this to last over time. So this is what it's gonna look like once I glue it, nail it, and stack it. Because again, you want it to be sturdy. You don't want anything falling over. You're gonna put an arrangement on top. So the sturdier, the better. I'm gonna spray paint, or I'm spray painting these dials, and I realized, doggone it, I'm wasting paint because I don't even have to do this. Oh my God, I'm gonna cover this in mirrors. What was I thinking? But if you don't wanna cover it, or if you wanna cover it in bling, you may wanna go ahead and spray paint your dials. So even though this was a pointless step in the process for me, you're gonna watch it, doggone it, because I did it. All right, so here it is, stacked, just stacked, not glued, not nailed yet, because I want you to see what this looks like before you decorate it. It works either way. I found this glue at Home Depot. It's a really sturdy glue. I really like it, and of course, you need a gun. It'll cost you about $2 for the gun. And don't do what I'm doing here and just overloading this disc with glue. I don't know what I was thinking, but this glue is watery in my defense, so more of it came out than I expected. As you see, it is still leaking and I'm not even touching it. And I ended up with some overspill. So just be careful when you're using that glue. It took me a minute to get these dials perfectly centered, but it was worth it because you don't want anything off. All right, so I use a book to just kind of make sure that this has weight so they adhere well together. Then I had to make sure that it was centered because again, I used too much glue and everything was sliding. That was my fault. But once I got it centered, I put that book back on top of it, let it sit. It dries probably in about 15 to 20 minutes, and you can come back and start the next part of your project. which is what I'm doing here, putting that glue on those legs, using a whole lot less, might I add. And I'm just gonna make sure that I glue that first so that before I nail it, things are centered. Again, I had a little bit of trouble here because centering that isn't as easy as it looks. Who knew that you'd have this much trouble putting a circle on a freaking circle? But I did. I finally got it. And once I got it, I want to take these nails that I bought when that's dry and just drive a longer nail up in and through that so that we make sure that it does not come apart later. Okay, who am I kidding? I wasn't going to ruin my hands. I made Honeydew do it. He nailed it. Here's my mirrors. These are tiles that I got off Amazon. I live by these things for so many different projects. They're very sticky and they do fold, so you want to be careful, but they are great for any design. And here's my finished leg, guys. And you know what? I didn't do this on camera because I really didn't know what I was going to do. And I pretty much suck because I could have showed you how I did it. But I do have other videos where I use those mirrors. So let's get some perspective here. Look at this old one. Look at the new one. I love this so much, I'm probably going to start buying legs and just making freaking table legs or tables because I really love how that came out. Here's my acrylic sheet. I got this at Lowe's. It was about 26 bucks. It was 18 by 24. They were kind enough to cut it in half. Home Depot, by the way, will not do that because they suck. And here's the acrylic cement that I'm going to use to adhere that. So I cut this down in half. It becomes 9 by 12. It's really thick and it's great for this project. But remember, it is bendable. You want to make sure that you measure. So I had Honeydew measure from side to side because you want to make sure that it is absolutely centered. And of course, I lost every Sharpie in the house. So don't laugh at me. I'm using my super fat eyeliner marker, but doggone it, it's centered and it's glued here. Just put that glue there, set it on top and let it dry. We have this attached to the acrylic. And I'm going to show you the next steps, but I want to give you some important tips. So remember, this is acrylic. It's got a nice thickness, but it does bend. So you don't want to pick it up from here. Now you see it'll lift, okay? But you always want to lift it from the legs because you don't want things to break. You want this to be durable. You want this to last. So you want to pick it up from the legs, okay? The next step is going to be draping our crystals, which is one of my favorite parts. But before I get to that, I want to show you this. So I decided when I do my draping, I want to have some fairy lights, right? So I'm going to show you this. It's a little bright out here. I'm working outside because the glue is a bit much and I need the ventilation. But I got these fairy lights in white. They come like this from Amazon. And you get like 6 of them. And because I'm making 3 chandeliers for now, I'm going to put 1 on each side. So that when after I get through draping all of my beadings, because this is wire, I don't even have to glue it. I'm just going to kind of run it through the beading. So the first thing I'm going to do, I got these little Velcro strips at Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do is cut these and just attach it to the back of this, affix it here so that it's there. You know, you can spray paint these, you can bling these out. It's really up to you. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and cut my Velcro and affix this here, okay? And then I'll figure out what I want to do with it later because I'm probably going to bling it up, take it down, do my thing. And I want to show you this glue. So this is the glue that I used to adhere the legs to the acrylic. And I told you earlier in another shot, I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but it actually worked fabulously. So this is a good cement. It's really not glue. It's more of a solvent cement. So I'm also going to use this to attach my crystals. All right, so these I got, where did I get these? eBay. I got these on eBay. And at first when they came, I was so disappointed. This is 99 feet, but I was disappointed because they're little. And I was thinking these were gonna be the bigger crystals that I use for my other chandelier. But this was actually a happy accident because these are gonna be cemented to the side. And so I'm glad that I actually don't have the bigger crystals, that I have these, so that it'll be a lot easier for me to affix. And I wanna talk about that just really quickly. So the key here is going to be to decide, what do you want your design to look at? You know, you can drape this way and keep going down. The design that I'm going to use, the picture that I saw, and I'm sorry I don't have the reference. If I find the picture, I'll post it. But I want my draping to come across first in kind of a curtain. And then I'm going to go under that with longer draping. So that takes some thought. I have to think about how I want to drape that. So I'm going to play with that for a little bit, but ultimately, just so you get an idea, from about the center, I'm going to angle this and kind of bring it that way, if you can see that. And if not, I'm sorry, it just is what it is. You'll see it later. But I'm going to angle And it's important to start in the center if you're gonna do something like that, because otherwise you're gonna be fighting through beads in front of you. So I'm gonna play with this, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you exactly how much I cut, what the lengths are, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna attach them, all right? Be right back. Let's get this Velcro cut. Now, I gotta be honest, the Dollar Tree Velcro strips did not work as well as I had hoped. They do stick well, but they're not that great. I ended up having to glue them to the top of the acrylic and to the fairy light, and it took forever just to get glue to adhere to either one. So be mindful of that if you buy these, but I wanted to show you how I attached it anyway. I didn't end up using the fairy lights. I found a better light that I liked, which you will see a little bit later, but you can see I'm having a little bit of trouble. So be mindful of that, but here's how you attach that, and you can always wire this inside your bead. I am marking, just a little highlighter, the middle of my acrylic, because when I lay my beads, I don't want to start directly in the middle because I'm going to have the draping. So I'm going to start from the side of this line. I'm sorry you can't see that, but trust me, I am marking it. Just enough for me to see and wipe off later. And I cut this strand into 27 beads long. And so I'm just going to go to the side of that line, and I'm going to bring this over diagonally, and that's going to create my first shortest strand. All right, I'm going to straighten that out, but it's going to be my first shortest strand, and this was 27 beads, so my next one will probably be 29 because I'm going to go lower until I get to the fullness that I desire. All right, so I'm getting in a rhythm here. This is good. This is good. Remember, these are going to come over this way. All right, so I told you that my first strand was 27 beads. That counts the one that is glued in here. All right, so really the hanging is 26. And what I'm doing, I just wanted to show you really quickly, is just measuring that down to the bottom where it's even, and then I go down 2 more, and I'm just gonna cut that. And then remember, this glue is really watery. This is why I'm working outside on the wooden table. You don't even need to squeeze this. All you need to do is get a little bit of that cement. I keep calling it glue. It's not actually glue. It is cement. And then what you want to do is just hold it in place. This is the tedious part, but this is where I'm really grateful that these crystals are as small as they are. At first I was disappointed, and I had to get over it. And once you have it positioned, you want to make sure you line this up neatly, and you just hold it. Da, 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 da. This is where I need some elevator music. You just hold it, and I'm holding it for maybe like 20 seconds just to be safe. You really don't have to, but I'm just holding it in place because I don't like for things to slide. But as you can see, as I'm yanking on this, this is not going anywhere. This acrylic cement is the bomb. I would use this over and over and over again for these projects. And then you just want to hold it until it's not able to move, until you're not able to twist it. So whatever seconds that is for you, you just want to make sure you're not able to twist it because you want it to dry. You don't want it to fall off as you're working. And again, you can pre-cut these. I'm just kind of going with the flow and trying to find my own rhythm. And remember, this is not dead center. My center is here where my finger is, okay? And my beads are slightly over because I have to drape that way. And then these are going to drape like this. And I'm going to intentionally pull it over at an angle. All right, so you can kind of get the gist. I can't really hold it. I'll hold it with this one. Hold on. Take my next one, and it's going to come right underneath that. And I'm going to go as full as I want for that. So this is about as far as I want to go for the draping over that way. And the reason I know that is because I'm going to take my longest strand and just kind of pull it over. You'll probably end up somewhere about there. Maybe not, but it'll angle along with the rest. But remember, I told you I don't want to come too far down because this is my middle. This is what's draping in the center. And so you don't want to get it too far down because you still have draping to do on the outside. So I ended up with 12 strands total. Remember, I started with 27. I cut a strand of 27, and then for the next length I just went 2 beads longer. All right, and so that's what you want to do if you want to follow this design. And again, 12 is enough. I don't think I need to come any further over because I think that's a good, for my longest length, that's a good length for the center of this thing, because I want to create a little bit of a gap, okay? I want to create, when all of these are attached to the other side, I want to create just a little bit of a, I don't know how to say it, kind of like a little hole in between the draping. That's what I'm trying to do. So now that I know I only need 12, I still have my center line of marcation here. So my next beads are not going to start directly in the center. I'm going to come just beyond that line. And if you want to test it, here's my shortest one. I'm going to angle it, because remember, these are going to angle. And so then I can see how close I want to make this strand next to this one. And it's still not centered. It's literally right next to that line that I marked. So you want to measure things out, because you want to do this right. You don't want to do this haphazardly if you're going to drape. Now, if you want something a lot more full than what this is, you can always add more beads. That's totally up to you. You just want to be mindful of how much space you have, because as you glue these to this little side, all right, you only have so much space to work with. So you may find yourself layering, and that's okay. You can layer on top of beads that you already have glued here if you want it to be more full. I have yet to decide if I want to do that yet. We'll see. I want to get the outline done first, and if I want to go in and add more beads, I will. So I'm going to go ahead and do this side, and I'll be back. All right, so I have these laid out the way that I want. Here's my center. And again, that's going to pull up and drape. But I want to show you from this side, because you couldn't see it and I don't have a turntable big enough. This is where it attached. You see it's really sturdy. That's not coming off. That's not going anywhere. You see my little purple line there. I'm going to just wipe that off. I might put like a little brooch in here. We'll see. But this is what it looks like. So you can decide to leave this. I'm not particularly bothered by it. Or you can get some ribbon and you can just cover it. You can cover it with bling. That's going to be really up to you. Remember, this is going to have a flower arrangement on top of it. So it's really going to be about what you want to show. But I just wanted you to see it. I'm going to let this sit and cure just a little bit longer before I start pulling things over, and I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like after I have draped it and glued it to the other side. Around, because I want to see exactly where I'm placing my beads on this side. Remember, I want them at an angle. So I don't want to come straight across, because then it's just going to drape straight across. I want them to angle. My beads that are going to come down this way are going to be glued here. So I got just enough space. So I'm going to bring this one because I want the angle. Now notice I'm starting with my longest strand. This is my 12th strand, and I'm starting with this because I want to make sure that I place that angle in the right way. If I start with the front one and I angle it, I might not necessarily be positioned right. So you want to start with your longest one, position it where you want it to go, and then you just kind of test it by holding it. Bring your other ones up. Oops. And then you can just kind of get a sense of how it's gonna fall. And if you don't like it, adjust it. So I'm just trying to hold these. Sorry, you guys, it's a lot of them. But see how that's falling? And that's really what I want. I mean, it's gonna be nicer than this. I'm trying to hold these all up. But that's what I want, is I want that kind of curvature when I drape these. Okay, if you can see under my hand, I want that kind of curvature. So you just want to play with it and play with your positioning. If you don't like that curvature, come over a little bit, move it, do whatever you want to do. But that's what I'm trying to do, is get that kind of draping for the sides and the front. And the good thing is that as I'm gluing this to this side, I don't have to do it to this side because it's already done. So I'm going to get these glued and I'll be right back. All right, so we got a good design going here. I was able to pull everything over and create this nice little curtainy, like I was going for that Hollywood theme because my theme is Gatsby, as you know. So I was going for that kind of Hollywood feel. And what I decided to do, instead of draping across the front, I decided to do a cute little pattern in the middle. Now I'm not finished with this pattern, but I wanted to stop and show you how I did it. So once I had these attached, I decided to just kind of pull inward and just loop in an X pattern. I'll show you that real quick. By the way, guys, this cement right here, this stuff is fabulous. All you have to do is hold these for 13 seconds, and I'm telling you, it adheres perfectly. So I'm gonna just pull this through. From your side, Tangled Mess, you're gonna see this. And then you're just gonna bring that over and select your length and attach it on that side once you attach it. And you're just gonna create that X by doing that. So my next one is gonna come from this side to that side, but this is that first strand. And so I'm gonna do one more just to kind of bring this X pattern in the middle up. And then we're not gonna leave these sides like this. Now, let me tell you, one of the reasons I didn't wanna come around this way is because all of this great leg work needs to be seen. So if you're gonna do this kind of fancy leg work, you don't wanna cover that. And when I came from the side over to the other side, it started to cover really, really low. That's good for plain legs, not for this project, because I'm just extra. And I really wanna make sure that this shows all my excellent hard work. So what I'm gonna do on the side of this here is just pull more of these strands and create something on the side, all right? Here's the actual light that I decided to use, 99-cent store light, put some batteries in it, blinged it up, and it looks fabulous. I also decided to add a pendant to the center of my chandelier, and I'm so ready to do the big reveal. Are you ready? It's coming up. And here it is. My baby is all grown up. Here's a couple pictures of it. But I really, really love the way this came out. Here's some video footage so you can really see this thing. This is amazing. I'm so glad that I followed my mind and I did not use Dollar Tree items. I knew there was something special about those table legs and I knew they would make a good centerpiece. I'm so glad that I was able to snatch those up and create something absolutely stunning. Can you picture these with a flower arrangement on top? It's not sparkling as much because it's in the daytime and it wasn't as sunny, but they came out great. Here it is at night. I wanted you to see it with those lights on so you could get a sense of what it will look like in the reception hall. I wish I had a flower arrangement to put on top of this and better lighting, but I just wanted you to see it. Let me tell you, when God says you will have the wedding of your dreams, he means it. I did not know that I was really going to use the work of my own hands to create many of the pieces that I had only been dreaming about. When you look in these magazines, everything is so stunning, it's so glamorous, and it is hard on your wallet. If you're not independently wealthy, making something like that happen can be up in the $20,000s of dollars. But to be able to have the skill and the talent and the wherewithal to create things on your own, you will find that you will be much more excited about your wedding day, about your event. And you know what? All of my favorite designers do this. All of them. So the Lord let me know that I could do it. And I'm so glad that I was able to bring you this tutorial. Now I am going to make some in other colors. I have 5 colors and I have 6 tables for each color. So I won't be doing them like this because I only had enough of these legs to make 6, but I will show you the update, not a full tutorial, but the update on the other ones that I do so you can see what materials I used. You can see how they came out. And everybody's asking me, when's the wedding? When's the wedding? We had to move it. You know, life happens, and so we've got to relocate. It's all good. We're going to focus on that and come back and have our wedding in May of 2020. That seems like a long way off, but 2018 flew by, so I know the day is going to be here before I know it. We are being blessed to being featured in a phenomenal bridal magazine who is covering our wedding. So my featured designs are going to be in a magazine. I'm so excited about that. Don't underestimate the gifts of your hands. We literally walked into that blessing. And I'm telling you, you might think that your wedding or your event can't look like you dream. It's not true. It is not true. I know I'm rambling. It's really because I just want you to keep looking at this thing because it's gorgeous and I love it and I'm excited and I put the work in. And you know what? If you wanted to make something like this and sell it, at Z Gallerie, something like this would be super expensive. Guys, these legs alone in this style, crafted this way, are easily $200 and something a piece. If you don't believe me, research table legs. Go to tablelegs.com. Google table legs, and you're going to find how expensive table legs really are, even on eBay, and they're not as nice as these. So I got these for a steal and turned it into something I could easily sell for $500-600. I'm telling you, because of the quality of the legs, because of the work done by hand, this is what I want to do. Open up an event center, start a website, and rent these things out to brides who want to make their dreams come true but don't want to break their budget. So God has also launched a business. I promise I'm going to start buying table legs and just redesigning table legs and selling table legs alone or making tables because this was so exciting. And I want to thank you for joining me. If you're new to the channel, if you're a subscriber, I appreciate you. The feedback, the comments, the emails. You guys really bless my life. And I want to say thank you. I'm trying to do some new things outside of my wedding. So stay tuned for some projects that are not wedding related that are coming up. And I just want to thank you for tuning in. I really do. I want to thank you for being my YouTube subscriber. And yes, I'm going to start doing giveaways. So stay tuned for that. It's all about building the channel, but it's also all about letting you know that the work of your hands are blessed. Say it with me. The work of my hands are blessed. The work of my hands are blessed because they are. Until next project, I will see you then. Be blessed and don't keep me a secret. Share me with a friend.